Hello and good morning, Midnight Coders. Welcome to another Midnight to-do list episode stream. Um, so in today's stream, we are going to be adding a Discord bot to our project. First off, let me just back it up a little bit. I'd like to make a shout out to my buddy Key, because I can't pronounce his name and I don't actually know his real name, but I know him as Key on Discord. He is also a fellow Midnight Coder. He's been watching our streams religiously. I feel very grateful to have him on our team. He's also part of the Midnight team now. He has suggested a website for me, or a tool that allows me to have some background music that is actually kind of cool. It's completely royalty free, it's copyright free, so YouTube should be happy with it. And on top of that, it's generated as it comes, which is kind of cool. I did some kind of looking into it a little bit, and what I can tell is it's somebody's project that they built, and it seems like it just generates random music. So it's like, as each song becomes next, it's a new tune. It's kind of cool. It's really cool, really interesting. I like it a lot. Lofi, I believe is what it's called. Lofi generator. LOFI, Lofi generator. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Again, it's a really cool thing, and I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Key who recommended it to me. I'll leave a link in the description for those of you who are interested in it. It's pretty cool. So shout out to him. So yes, in today's video, we are going to dive into the world of Discord. We are going to jump into the Discord dev panel, create a new bot. Well, technically, I've already done that, so that I could get the key without displaying it on stream, because that would be bad. So I'll walk you through how to get that yourself, how to get everything, and then we're going to go in and we're going to add the JDA to our Gradle build. And so that way we can have that library in our project. From there, we are going to then build out a Discord bot. We'll take advantage of some of the setups, whatnot, and we're going to make a slash command. The slash command is just going to be simply a slash link to start out with. And in doing that, we're going to be able to link our Discord account to our to our Midnight List profile. Now, the sort of perks of this is that Discord is a fun little tool, and it's a fun little place to build bots and have some fun with. I've built many bots over the years. This is kind of fun for me to do bots. A lot of people write their bots in different ways. They'll use like JSONs for the embeds and everything, and they'll use like Python or something of that nature. But I write them purely in Java, and I use JDA, but it is my preferred library of choice. I have used other ones. There are other ones out there, but personal preference points me to JDA. So there is a couple bits of this code that I am not going to write out on the stream, just because it is sort of not redundant, but I've just written it out so many times that I've got kind of a pattern that I do. So I'm just going to copy and paste some code in for the initial bot setup, and then I'll run through what the code is, and we'll start building out from there. So if that sounds interesting to everybody, to build a Discord bot on top of our to-do list, make sure you've got that full cup of coffee, and let's dive on in. All right, so in here, I guess the first thing that we should do is I'll show you where to go to make a bot. So you would go to your developer's dashboard, and I've gotten rid of, these are mainly just the bots that I got left. I went through and purged a bunch of my bots. So in here, you would just create new application, give it a name, select whether it's a personal bot or going in with a group that you have. You have to agree to the terms and services, otherwise, you can't really play. All right, then we have a bot. So then we're going to be in here. It brings you to this screen where you can click to choose a photo. You can give your bot a description. You can rename it up here. You can give it some tags if you want people to find it, but like this isn't really a Discord bot tutorial. So you would now, if you do want to know a little bit more about Discord bots and setting them up and all the fun stuff and whatnot, like in more detail, by all means, drop me a comment. Let me know that's interesting to you, and I'll make one. I can go over all the different side bits here, what's going on, how to build a Discord game, and this, that, and the other thing. We can, build an actual game inside of Discord, rather than just like bots, but like physical apps. Yeah, there's all sorts of fun stuff we can do here. But for the sake of this video, we're looking to go into the bot tab. Now, in here, you can add a banner to your bot. Again, this is where you would rename the username of it. And then this is where you get your generated token. So this is the bad boy that you're going to need in order to invite the bot to your Discord. Everything else you can leave just as the same. You don't really need to worry about any of that. All you need to know is you need this token. So by default, when you first make a Discord bot, there is no token. There's nothing that's provided to you. So you have to click this reset token, put in your two-factor authorization. If you don't have it, turn it on. Put in your two-factor, get your generated token, and then from there, we can move into our IDE. Now, I set this up so that I put my token as an environment variable. So the environment variables are something that gets placed into in a nutshell, it gets placed, it's something that your computer knows, or like the environment that you're running on knows about. So sort of like, for those of you that know that when you just type into the command Java, it knows exactly where to go. That's an environment variable storing the location of Java home. So this is going to be an environment variable that stores a Discord token. If you'd like to know more about environment variables, again, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to make a video about that. In here, you would have to come up to, in IntelliJ, you come up here to your modify options, and you would turn on or toggle on the environment variables. And then inside of here, you would click this. I really hope this doesn't display my full key. Okay, it doesn't. Perfect. So in here, you would press the plus button. You would add the name of your environment variable here, and then you would post it, and of course there it is. Now I got to reset it. Cool. So now you need to put in your value over there. So that would be your key, and this goes into your environment variables. And if you want to see what other environment variables are, you can take a scroll through the bottom here, and it lists out your computer's entire environment variables. For example, your home path, home drive, and the whatnot, and all this other fun stuff. So that's, again, if you want more information, let me know. I'll do a deep dive on it. So we set up our environment variable in here, so that way we don't accidentally put any sort of passwords or sensitive information into the GitHub repo. That is very bad. Very, very bad. So up here, we're going to create a new package. This package is going to be Discord, just for simplicity's sake. And then in here, we're going to make a new file, and this file is going to be called the Midnight Bot. Simply because we're working with the Midnight Bot related things. So we're going to go ahead and add this to our we're going to go ahead and add that to GitHub. So the Git tracking, I'm going to come down and snag up some code so that I can copy paste some things into here. Oh yes, and of course I need to go into Gradle.build, and we need to add in a new implementation. Whoops, I meant to duplicate that. Back you out. This, I think I gotta add a couple of things in here. This has to go in. And do I need to include? I probably do. There we go. Everything's happy. Close out of there. And now we can import our JDA information. Boom. And also, I'm going to snag a logger that I forgot to. I mean, that's pretty good, but I really wish you would have just done the imports. There we go. Okay, coming down here. What else did I forget? Okay, import the activity, import the command data. Gotta go through all the imports, because I did not copy imports, you know? Let's do this, do this. Gateway, stream. Sorry about that. There we go. Had to run through and get all those imports in. All right, so now let's take a walkthrough here. So first off, best practice, make a logger. Have a logger. Then we're coming down here and we are defining a couple of static variables. One is the JDA, which is part of the library we just downloaded or just installed. If you want to know more about it, you can run through here. But JDA is sort of the registry of the tool. And then there's the builder, which allows us to build up the tools, the bot. Again, I'm not really looking to go into too much of a deep dive here. The Midnight bot, which is of course it's itself. We're using this just as a singleton pattern to get to make sure that there is only one of it. And down here, when we initialize it, we're going to go ahead and say that we're starting it up. We're going to set the API to the builder. We're going to use the builder to build it. And then from there, we're going to update with a list of commands that we're looking to pass to it so that we queue that up and we get that list of commands a little lower in the process. After this is done, I then log to this screen the invite URL. So that way, once I turn this on, I have some way of clicking a link to invite the bot to my guild. You'll see that here in just a few moments. And of course, we're going to catch any exception and log that out as well. Down here is a getter for the API, and once again, this is a singleton pattern, so that we're checking to see if the API is null, then we're going to initialize it, which is up here where we started out, and define it. Down here, the builder, also singleton pattern. If it's null, we are going to set it up as a default. We're going to then use the system environment to grab our Discord bot token that we passed in as an environment variable. Next, from there, we're going to access the gateway. We're going to set up the gateway intents. So this is Discord's way of knowing what our bot intends to do. Just lining the rest of that up, sorry. Then we're going to disable the cache because there's certain things that we don't care to keep track of. We don't really care to cache it into memory. We'll get into what those below. And then I always like to set up an activity so that this part here is the part of Discord that says like your bot is doing something, whether it be watching something, doing this. In our case, it's just going to be tracking notes because this is getting the activity, which I set up here. The activity is that we are tracking notes. Now, there are different types of activity. So if we jump into this, where am I using it? Yeah, I'm using playing. There is also streaming, listening, watching, eating, and just a straight up custom status. So I think I'm going to go with custom status because none of these seem to technically fit because we're not really playing a game or doing anything. We're just tracking tasks. So next is the command list. So this here is where we generate what a command is. So this is, we are making a /link command that is then going to then provide the user with a an input, like a model form input, where they're going to put in their username, their password, so that we can then make reference to that in a service to verify that, you know, the username and password match up. So we're going to go ahead and associate this Discord ID with this profile that we set up in the last stream yesterday. Our user accounts keep track of a optional Discord ID because we don't, you know, if you go to the website to do to-do list stuff, that's all fun and games and okay. We don't care if you have a Discord or not, but in order to use it, that's why it's optional. So we're going to go ahead and set that connection up today with a link command. And we are down in here, we're telling it the gateway intents. So this is a list of what we intend to be listening to. Now, Discord bots can make direct messages, so we are looking to make the direct message connection because there is the option where you can just DM a bot. So that's always a fun one to have, or a good one to have. Message content, we want to be able to read the content of the messages that are being sent. Guild messages, we want to be able to, again, listen in for messages, and we also want to be able to know who is who. Things that we don't care about are the disabled cache flags. So we don't care about members overrides. So that would be like somebody having a different username. We really don't care about that. We don't care about the voice state of the guild because we're not tracking any voice activities. We don't care about the online status of anybody because, I mean, if they're interacting with us, they're obviously online or they're obviously there. So we don't really care if they're online, offline, away, busy, whatever they are. We don't care to listen for scheduled events because we're not really tracking or paying attention to any of those with our bot. Also, we don't really care to listen to any sort of stickers. We don't want to cache any list of any list of stickers, and we don't want to cache any list of emojis that are built in because we just don't care. And then I always have a shutdown here because something that we didn't add to this initial project was a shutdown hook, which is something that I usually add to most of my projects, primarily because it's a graceful way that we can log out of our, like, for example, here would log out, the Discord bot would essentially log out rather than just time out later. So it's a graceful way to close things up, and we can add that in later. Good morning, Key. If you missed it, I gave you a shout out in the start of this due to the fact that you were amazing with giving me some lo-fi generated music. All right, so that's roughly our Discord bot setup. The next thing we need to do to like set it up is to, of course, come in here and launch it. So we're gonna go ahead and call the Midnight bot dot get the Discord bot dot init, because yeah, that's basically it. So that'll come in here. No, I don't need to call that init because this init gets called here, so I just need to call it. I forget how to run that now. Let me see how I did that in Rune Hero. Oh, I forgot how I did that in Rune Hero. Let me just give a double check here, guys. Sorry. It's been a minute since I set one up from scratch. Oh yeah, that's what I do when I set up the event listeners, although I call that init. Call that init here. Why am I calling that init again? Makes sense, I suppose. I guess that's, yeah, I was doing it right. Suppose I was doing that right. Oh shit, no, right, Rune Hero was still running. Oops, active bot. Set event. Or is it add event? Add event listeners. There we go. And now in here, I'm going to be adding in a bunch of event listeners. Static. Oh wait, no, I can't make you final. We're not. You're just static for now. Okay, so we can not. It doesn't need to be static at all, technically. Spelling that wrong? Midnight bot equals new midnight bot. Oh yeah, it's of course because of the fact that it's static. Okay, cool. So midnight bot is a new midnight bot. Midnight bot. Guess I don't need to call that way. I could just shorten that all up. Am I qualifying statically? Yeah, and that, okay, I guess. Yeah, screw it, I'll go back to what it was. We need to make gonna make a listeners package, which is going to have a / command listener. which I'm just gonna go together right quick. This is going to be here. This needs to extend the listener adapter. Okay, and then we need to override a on slash. There we go. And we're going to track the Discord member. So we're just going to call this M. Oh, it just sounds like dismembered. Discord member equals Discord member. And of course, for some reason, if the Discord member is null, we're just going to straight break out. And we want to get the slash command that they use. So we're going to grab the command name. And then down here is where we are going. And actually, I want to take that and I want to lowercase it. For simplicity's sake, I want to lowercase that so that I can come down here and make a switch to go over the command names. And instead of ping, ours is link. And we are then going to, this one here, we are simply going to create a new, we need to make a new, a new registered command. So we're going to come into here, new package for commands. Hey, Donkey. Welcome to the party, dude. Good to hear from you. Haven't talked to you in a while. Alright, and this needs a slash command. This needs a slash command interface, I believe. It's been a minute since I've done these. Jesus. So slash command listener, cool, and then commands. Yeah, I need a slash command, which I should have called it I slash command, and then I'm gonna just stop going places. Copy. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna rename this bad boy to I slash command. Bear with me. There we go. And just for simplicity's sake, even though it is, we're just gonna annotate it as a functional interface. For those of you that do not know, a functional interface versus a regular interface. A functional interface is just an interface that has one method in it. That's it, just one method. And if we try to add another method right now, we're going to get an issue because, well, first off, we'll get an issue because it's already defined. But if we call it something else, we're going to get an issue that it's no longer a functional interface. So, just to keep contracts, we're gonna make sure we annotate that with a functional interface. So now we can come into here. Nope. We can come into here. We can make a new package for implementations. And this is where we will start writing actual commands. So we'll come in here and we'll make a register command. Yep. And this guy is going to implement our slash command so that we can then handle it. There we go. And now I'm just going to come back in here and make this happy so that we can say new register command on hand. There we go. And as we add more commands in here, this switch will look less useless. So this is basically going to be listening for whenever this is listening for whenever something happens. And in our case, we're listening for when a slash command happens. This is This is a Spring Boot project. So we're gonna come to the beginning of this, and I'm just gonna annotate this with null marked. There we go. So that I can get rid of this. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, so this here is going to listen for a slash command, and then we're going to make sure that the Discord user exists. If not, of course, it magically became a ghost. Oh, yes, shoot, the zoom in. Yes, yes, oh my god. Somebody had mentioned that to me last time, and I said I would do it, and it was on my frickin' it was on my to-do list for this morning. Jeez, I am so sorry, guys. I meant to do this. I meant to do this earlier. I'm gonna go to 18. Please let me know in the chat, in the live chat. Is this better zoom, or is this not big enough? I'm really sorry, guys. I personally sit here with a 32-inch monitor, and it's about roughly 2 feet away from my face, and like I have the text very small so that I can see a lot more on my screen. I forget about my presentation modes and like doing this in. I am very sorry, very, very, very sorry about the zoom being too small. Please, could somebody let me know if it is better? Okay, so register command. So we're gonna pop back into our register command here, and just clean up some real estate. All right, now in here, we're generally, actually, I have a somewhat pre-existing command in here. Let me just, I'm just gonna jump in and grab some of this. I'm gonna copy this because I really do want this to be part of it. So here again, we're going to make sure that the Discord member, and you know what, I'm just preferring the verbiage of this. So we're going to check to see if the Discord member exists. If not, we're going to return. And I happen to want people to register from a Discord guild, not from a private message. So in my case, I'm going to be checking to see if the Discord guild is null or not. And if it is, we're going to return out. Now, the next things that we want to do is we want to prompt our user. So the next thing that we want to do is I want to prompt the user for some input. So here's where I want to ask them for username, password, and so we're gonna come down here next, and we're gonna create a couple of text inputs. I'm gonna create this. We're giving it an ID as well as a text type, which in our case, the text import type is just going to be short. The types that there are is a short, which is basically just a line, and then there's a paragraph, and then there's I think it's custom. But for now, for us, we just want to simply know username. So for us, this is going to be our username input. And because we want to be nice to our people, we're going to say that this is required, because it is. We're also going to say that this is going to have some placeholder. We're going to say enter your username. And because we set up the restraints, we set up custom restraints before where someone had to have a minimum of 3 characters for their username, and I think it was a maximum of, I forget what the maximum was. To do item user account. Open Open, please. User account. Usernames are a maximum of 50. So I'm just going to slip this over here while we write this out. So this was a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 50. 50, Mike. And then we are basically going to duplicate this and ask them for their password input. For password, and the password one happens to be a little bit longer, which I don't know if it's the length of this or not. And you're not really helping me with that. Okay, cool. Cool. Single line input. So how much does a single line consist of? Well, our case, we're saying that the password is allowed to go up to 120. So we're going to go with that. And I'm going to say, I forget if we have a minimum or not. Somewhere we were checking validating inputs and services. Okay. 6. That's the minimum. There we go. I forgot where I put that. So your password is a minimum of 6 and a maximum of 200 according to this, but yet we're setting it to 120 in the other spot, so I'm going to set that back to 120. All right. There we go. So there's that. Next, we need to put this somewhere. So where do we put this? We put this into what's called a model or a model. M-O-D-A-L. And we're going to create one. This one's going to have a name for itself as well as a title. So the custom name for this one is just going to be registration input. Title is please provide your web credentials. Perfect. Looks good to me. Next, we're going to come down. Oh, sorry, I've got to stick this in a variable. I'm just going to call this a registration form, and I want to add components to it, which the components that I want to add are the username input build. Of course, it's not going to like that. And then I'm going to add another component. Or it might be the fact that I'm adding components and not component. Oh, right, it's not action. It's not this. It is add. Or add or set. Oh, that's right. It changed. It is component. Oh, I forget what this changed to. Why wasn't it? Used to be just this. Used to be add action row. Components, model level component. What are you? Are you not a model level component or what? Okay, and the text input is what though? Child component. Yeah, label child component, which is a component. Okay, yeah, you're that with a component. Sorry guys, when I use oh, there's the textiles. When I used JDA last, I was using JDA version 5. This one here is JDA 6. It's a newer version, so I just wanted to kind of use it for this. But it looks like a couple of things have changed. Typically, the model create allowed me to add action rows, which were these these inputs. But now that it's saying, now that it's components, so it wants components. What are model level components, which is a component? Okay. So what the hell is a model level component now? Cool, I love when shit goes smooth on stream. Custom ID, title. Add components. So yeah, I need to figure out how to make these model level components. What is the difference? Replaces, oh sorry, represents a component that can be added into a model. This includes label and text display. Did this change? Okay. So how do I add text inputs to it then? These are just text displays. Well, I need to learn something new, guys. So, for the sake of the video, I'm gonna throw this back to the same version that I've got for Rune Hero. And I do apologize. So I'm using version. This is the newest version, 6.1.2. But I'm used to 5, so I'm gonna go back to 5.6.1. I do apologize for this. Let me close out of those. And you, get rid of you, get rid of you. Import, import, import. Okay, so now I need to add the label in there too. Oh. The label is going to be username. And I think that's why they separated the two of them. So I think I noticed that the label would go over the place, over the text place, and yeah. I need to brush up on that today. I don't want to take away the time on a live stream to do so, but I'm going to take some time today to do this, and I'll post an updated video on how to do the newer version. But for now, I'm going back with what I know. So this one here was add action rows, which would allow me to put those 2 rows in here and then build out the model. And then from here, we come down and we just go back into the event, we reply with the model, and then this form is now presented to our users where they need to enter information. I'm going to call these inputs instead, just for the sake of naming. Okay, so there's that, and this will reply this and reply with that. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to make a package for models. Probably should have followed conventions and named that with an S. So now in here, we're going to have another class for model listener. Okay, and that is basically the same thing as our listener. So this is going to extend listener adapter, and this one's going to override on model interaction. There we go. And here we're going to be looking for a trigger. Trigger here is going to be equal to the event model ID. There we go. Why is there 2 spaces? Okay, so then we're going to come down and we're going to write a little switch. Again, this is going to switch over the trigger, and I actually want the trigger to be in lowercase form. Yeah, I'm just going to put it all the lowercase. Actually, no, I'm going to make sure I'm putting it in uppercase. So you know what? We're just going to stick with uppercase. So now we're going to make a case for this guy, which is going to trigger yada yada, which we haven't wrote yet. So this is registration input. So registration input is going to go off to a... This is actually in the wrong package. That's supposed to go into the listener. Model is going to have a new model input. This is going to be another model input, model form, I suppose. Yeah, model form. And this guy is going to be as well like the other guy, just a functional interface. There we go. Get rid of that. And then we go in and we make some implementations. So we stick this in here, we make a new file, we make a new registration input form. Sure, call it that, I suppose. This guy is going to implement the form, which is going to take care of a registration event. So in here, we go back into our listener so that we can at least make this happy. And this is going to be a new registration form. There we go. So that's going to be all hunky-dory happy there. Now we can get out of that listener. Get out of our registered command is good. We can get out of the slash command. So I'm just going to get rid of some things up here because I got too many things open. And I have the attention span of a squirrel. So user service registration form. This guy here, this registration form, we are actually going to annotate as a component because we do want Spring to be able to do some magic here, and I'm actually going to implement a required args constructor so that this one here we can private final what am I looking for? User account repository. Really should. Oh, I gotta add to the user service. We're gonna have to make a verification. I'm gonna see if I can make a getter to get the users. To get a user account or find. Okay, I have a way to find it by email, but I need to find it by username. So I'm going to duplicate this, and we're going to find by username. That's going to be username. This is going to be username, and this is going to be username. There we go. So now I got a way to find it by a username. So I want to here take in the way user service, so that now we can verify some stuff here, and then we can validate the user and sort of update, create a way to update and whatnot. So let's so we know we're doing that. Right, so I want to event dot values. Yeah. Okay, so provided inputs dot get. I get the key. I get the index. Well, I mean, in our case, there's only 2 in here. Okay, so there's going to be our username input and our password input. So now we want to see if we can find the user by the user's input as string, and we want to make sure that if the user is if they're present, we want to do something. All right, so here we want to then we want to grab the password and make sure it is present. So do the same thing here. And next, oh, I know we've got a way to validate this. You're using the password encoder, so I want to be able to, okay, so verify, I guess I'm going to add it down here. Is valid password. Yeah, I suppose I'll do that. And I'll come in here and we'll say if user service dot valid password. Okay, so if the password is valid, the one that we passed, versus the password that's on the hash of the person that we just grabbed, this is where we then want to, now we know everything is good, we want to update our user record. So here we're going to say user dot shit, no, because the user is a record, isn't it? User account is that. Oh, right. Okay, so user dot get. Okay, so it's here. Valid user. Going to be this. Of course, I spelled that wrong. No camel case. Okay, so I want to say the valid user dot set Discord ID equal to the person who just did this. And now I want to say the user service dot save the valid. Well, not save. I guess I call it update. No, screw it. Call it. Yeah. I'm gonna call it update this. And we're gonna create that method over here. Why did you stick it at the top? That is a poor choice. Let's shove it down here somewhere. So here, when we update the user with this valid one, I'm basically just saying I want to save it into the repo. Cool. So there's that. So now we should be able... right, because now you want that. Fiddle. Shoot. I should have made you into a whole thing the whole time, and we just did. Should have been a separate service. Okay, so because this one here has a required args constructor to take in the user service, I can't call this to that and this to that, and I need to redesign that because I can't call registration form this way with those that, because even if I call it with a no, okay, so I got to pass this down the chain. Okay, so that means this needs to get it, but the listener needs to, hasn't been initialized yet. I need to go into here, because this is where I'll be adding in. Okay, this is not best practice, guys. Like, this is... Oh, what if I call it? Can I call that? This doesn't have a constructor. Oh, shit. Okay, this is really, really... Son of a beast. This is not gonna work, is it? I can't auto-wire that into here as a start. No, and I can't... Oh, how am I gonna put you in there? I need to register you as a bean, I suppose, and... Oh, do I need to register you as a bean? So, just so you know what I'm trying to think of here, guys. In here, this now officially requires a user service because I'm doing this instead of something like what I should be doing, what I wish I did, was made this into a separate service so that I could have just made an HTTP request to the controller. Because right now, I need to provide a user service into my registration form because I have this required constructor and because I have this as a final variable because I want to be able to use this class. But in order to do this, I need to pass this user service in when I create my registration form. So that becomes a problem with the model listener. I need to pass it in here, but I don't have it, and I can do the constructor injection in here and grab it and pass it along. But then when I add the model listener, I need to then pass it into there, which comes back to the Midnight bot Midnight application. because in here, where I am initially essentially creating it right here, so I'm saying grep, and this is where it comes in and sees if this is null, then create it again with nothing. And so I would need to pass it into here, pass it into there, and pass it down the chain, all from here. And there's no way for me to initially start it out here without maybe initializing it as a bean and then passing the service through the bean. I know there's a better way to do this. Like I don't have, what kind of controllers do I have? Secured controllers that are also going to require me to pass in a header. Home controller, global controller, auth controller. I mean, yeah. Oh, I could do it that way, but then it becomes kind of a problem. So I'm debating on just making a REST client here as a bean that I can hopefully use, or like a configuration that I can use. I could do what if I return REST client builder? Base URL. What if I did http//localhost? I think I'm just on localhost on this one, am I? Am I just on localhost? What am I on? Localhost, okay. No 8080. So localhost / API / user, I think. Controller, auth, home, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna make a new API controller. New S, we're gonna and in here we're gonna make this a REST controller, sure. We're gonna make a required mapping, or request mapping. This is API / well, this is API in general, so yeah, we'll just do API. here. This is going to be a getter. Get mapping for... No, this isn't going to be a get mapping. This is post mapping, if anything. Post mapping of register user response entity. This case, I'm just going to make it void. Or I shall make it a Boolean. And this is going to take in a request parameter, which is going to be a long for the Discord ID. Parameter we're going to provide, which is Discord ID. And this should be null marked. Okay, looking up that, do this, and here. Okay, so next we're gonna come down here and redo what we were doing over there. So let me backstep a few places because this is having an issue. This. So if I use the network client to, okay, I'm gonna want to, okay, so I'm going to need to do this, and I am going to need one, get a user, so I am going to need a get mapping. I'm just going to call this user, and this is going to return a user account. Okay, and then this is going to be get registered user. So this is going to be getting a user, and I'm actually going to make this request be an email. No, it can't be an email because we're asking for username. Okay, so that should be fine. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically telling this get mapping that I want to have a username provided at the end of it. And then from here, I am going to be, we're going to add it. Oh, goodness gracious. We're going to add in the required args constructor so that in here we can have the private user service. And then now I can come into here and say user service dot find by username. This will be the optional user. And then of course, there we go. I'm just going to return back this or null, the optional user or null. So that's going to return back the user. So if we come back into here, we are going to, come on. I want to back out of this, say get REST client dot get, because we're using a get request. The URI is going to, the URI, because that we have base URI as API. Base one is API, so now we're going to come back into our registration form. Because we know that it's API, we're going to say slash, I don't have a v1, so I'm going to say that user, thanks to, look at that. IntelliSense is great. So here we're returning back, we're grabbing the users, the API user, slip this over here. So we're coming into API user, apparently this is users, this is user, and it's going to provide the username as the request. There we go. So this will return, if we come to the end here and say retrieve, and then body is a new parameterized type of user account. And I have to, for simplicity's sake, make this null marked. What the hell? Null marked. So now we're going to say if the user, because we know the user's here, so we want to say if, what I want to say here is if the user's not null, then I'm going to fetch the password, and then this is where I want to make another, this is where I'm going to make another request to valid to confirm whether or not the user was successfully registered. So here in here we're going to say register user, and we're going to provide Discord ID. Provide the Discord ID, as well as we are going to provide. Can I put a comma there? No, not username. Actually, I do need this is going to be a DTO. So I have the user. Okay, so what is this? What do I have in the user? User.get. I do have an ID. Okay, so I have the ID of the user. Okay, so user slash so this is going to be, sorry, I'm just trying to rethink what I'm doing over and over again. Nothing like that, right? Nothing like that thought process that makes you rethink everything. So we're gonna say a path variable. No, it's gonna be long user ID. Okay, so that's this, that register. Then we're gonna tack on the Discord ID. I don't need the password because I do need the password because I do want to validate this and that with this. Okay, so the user ID, I'm going to say that I want to register them. I'm going to provide Discord ID and password into the... Really don't like doing that. Oh, I feel like there should be a DTO passed around here. Make it easier, but technically it's the same freaking noise. Okay, so... Whatever, I hate this, but I'm going to do it. Alright, so... Now I need to come over here, and I need to say get rest client dot post. We're gonna say the URI is going to be the base one slash user slash this slash register this da 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 da. User ID. No, user ID. What's this second one? Is the Discord ID. So this should be the event. Get. No, I have member. Do I not have member? No, I didn't take the member in. Cool. Get user. I got ID. Okay, there we go. That works. Okay. And just for the sake of being able to read this, I am putting that down below it. Dot retrieve. Dot body is Boolean. Okay, so if result, and why is that there? Replace it. Cool. So if the result was true, it was registered, then we're going to come down and say that the person was successfully registered, and we'll reply with that. Else, registration failed. So this is going to come through here, and again, it's going to take the password, the user ID, and it's going to pass that along our fancy little network that I did not... What am I doing here? I didn't even link these. User ID, Discord ID equals... That is crazy. We're going to rename this up here to Discord ID, rename that. Discord ID, and this is the password. Just so that those things line up. Okay, cool. So those are all going to line up. So we're going to pass our little fancy ass bad practice string through here. Over on this end, we are going to go ahead and again, we are going to make our optional user is equal to user service dot find by... I don't have a find by ID. Find by ID. User ID. We're going to create that later. So now if optional user, optional user. Wow. Supposed to be optional user. So if this dot is present, sort of knows what I want to do. So service, we need to make a new one defined by ID. There we go. And because that's kind of sort of going in gray with the other ones, let's stick that up here. All right, so now we come back in here to find this by ID, and if the ID is present, we grab the user, we validate the password here. If the password is good, we set the ID, we update this, and we turn everything is okay. Perfect. So, next thing that we need to do now is make sure all of our Discord stuff is right now, and we should be able to test this. All right. So we're going to go back into the Midnight application. This is where we need to register our listeners. So this is going to be a new / command listener. And there's going to be a new model listener, so that we make sure we do have those two things functioning. All right, let's close out of all of this noise here and make sure things are running as expected. So when this starts up, we want it to build the bot. Build the bot's going to go ahead and do everything in here, is going to register itself, connect, provide us a link to invite. Going to be able to use a / command. I do want to add a second command in here just now. I want to call it my list. It's not a command that we have yet, but it's something that I want to build and add into here. So this is going to be view your to-do list. And I'm only doing this now because I'm doing this one now because it sometimes it takes Discord a little bit for you to pump out another command. Oh, that stretch feels nice. So yeah, so you should be able to hear from here, be able to because sometimes it takes Discord a little while to pump out the next update. So if you add like a command here and then you reboot your bot and add another command, sometimes it doesn't always work the way you expect it. It doesn't always update the bot right away. Sometimes it takes 5 to 10 to 20 minutes, depending on, I don't even know what it depends on. But it's kind of weird that way sometimes. So I want to add this now so that when we first create this, everything gets done up and we can just go ahead and yeah. So this is Discord bot token. I do just want to verify that I got that spelt right in mine. So I'm just going to, if I can, copy that. Yep, just to make sure I just OCD over spelling and want to make sure it's right. So that is fine there, the Midnight bot, okay. So this is then going to initiate things, generate this, add the right listeners. So the / command listener is listening for link and will take you to the register command, which will then provide you, do some validation, and then provide you with a form to input your username and your password. And then it will stick it together in a model form and post it up in front for us. That seems good. I'm happy with that. Model listener, this one's going to listen for the registration input, and then it's going to take it, grab the components that are on there. And since we only have 2, it's going to grab the first and second because they go in the proper order of username and password. Just to validate that, I want to take a double look at that. So again, username's being put in first, password in second. So we are safe to come in here and say username is the first and password is the last because there's only 2. So then we're going to make a post request to our user's endpoint, and if we control click, thanks to IntelliJ, we can wire ourselves right directly to where this is being used. So you can see here that we are then taking in the username as a request parameter. So that's the question mark at the end. That's the question mark at the end of this part here. As you know by HTML, that's how you pass in variables. So now down here, we're saying, okay, user with the user ID going to register, and it's going to provide a Discord ID and a password. So if we control click on register, it takes us here, and that also gives us confirmation that our mapping is correct. I love IntelliJ. So here we can see that our path variable is the username, and again, if you click on it, it generally highlights it. Thank you, IntelliJ. And then from there, we can come down and see our two request parameters are the password, the Discord ID, and the password. So if we turn around and fire up our program, we should get our, and actually let's go down here. So I like to do it from down here. So we're going to fire up the application. We see some massive text. Our database populated, that's just the data. But down here, you'll see that we've connected to the WebSocket. We've got ourselves connected. We've logged into our JDA after we've generated our connection. So we do have a link that we can click to invite the bot to our Discord. And down here, I'm seeing that we have disallowed intents. Disallowed intents, your bot might not be eligible to request a privilege intent for such as guild pres. Okay, so this is due to back in the Discord developers panel. There's a couple of toggles that I just didn't turn on. I should have turned those on, but we click on this link, it'll take us up to a page to invite the bot, which is, in my case, going to be over on the I'm looking to stick this into the Midnight Coder. I'm looking to authorize it. Success. So now, if everything is done right, I should be able to show you my Discord side here, the bot. And if I look for /link, you'll see that, okay, maybe it's easier to sort this by app. So if we come here, we'll see inside of the Midnight to-do is added to our list of bots. And you can see that we have a link and a my list command. So if we use the link, hit enter. I love when nothing happens. Something went sideways. And it may or may not be my permissions. But if you guys give me just a quick moment, my dog is scratching to come in and it is kind of cold outside. So I need to go and let him in and refill my coffee. And I will be back in just a moment. Okay, I am back. I am very sorry about that, guys. It is a little bit cold outside. Dog. I just want to let him in. He is a husky, but like, I don't know, it's cold as hell out. So, as you can see here, I got half a screen. All right, so as you can see, I wanted to come back into here to update those. So if we look at the issue here, disallowed intents, yada yada yada. Just to square that out, I wanted to come back into here in your bot section. If you scroll down, there are these three intents. These three intents here that I needed to enable. So if you just toggle these on, boom, 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 you should be good. This is a private bot. I mean, I could technically say it's a private bot. Look at that. I can't do it. Look at that. Apparently I can't. Private application cannot be defined. So there we go. Okay, whatever. We're back. So let's get rid of here. Let's come back into here. Rerun the application, and those errors should not be there. There we go. Finish loading. Now, I don't know if that was the problem or not, but I'm going to try this again. Okay. Cannot create action row with invalid component combinations. Provided 2 of 1 of text input. Okay. Provided 2 of 1. Was I only supposed to add that in? Was I supposed to add that in like that? Let's try this again. I didn't think it mattered. I thought I could take an array. Let me try this. There we go. That was the issue. So now, as you see, or as you kind of sort of see, you see because I mainly squared that off so I don't show everybody that's in my Discord. But here you can see the input where it's asking you for a username and password so that it can link you up. The password, because I don't believe Discord has anything to provide for that. So this is all presented in plain text. So what the hell was my password? So I need to pop into the website itself and log in. Oh wait, that's already there. Yep. Log in. Email and password. Okay, let me try to remember what my password was. So my username is Glabay. And I think my password is Glabay as well. But submitting did nothing. Why did that do nothing? Now I'm confused again. Okay. We are listening for that, right? I did say that. Registration input. You are listening. Is there a different model interaction? I thought it was interaction. Is it? Because I'm using the wrong one. This isn't on model interaction. This is on. It's supposed to be on model. Or sorry, yeah, on. That goes into the listener, which is on mode. Is it on it? Okay, so it is on the interaction. Let me copy that and paste it here so I have it right. Yeah. Model interaction event. That is the right event that I'm listening to. Override everything. You are being listened to here. Okay, so let's pop over to listener. Stick a breakpoint in here. Let's rerun this as a. Okay, and now submit. Okay, so it was registration input. Cool. Did I just not reply? Is that my thing? Did I just not? No, I did reply. Event successful. Yeah. So where are we crashing out? Is it the user? User is null. Okay. User's null. That's my problem. So let's return to here. And ultimately, this is what is returning back. No? No? Didn't make it that far? What? How did I not make it this far? Okay, so we're not in that. Not in this. No longer in there. Yeah, so this returns back as a null. And if I do this, is it because of what I'm passing? It is because of what I'm passing. Okay, cool. Let us back out of here, get out of there, close off this, get rid of that breakpoint. We're just gonna move you back up here for now so that I can look at this. And we are going to come down and say username equals this, because I'm curious. Is that how I get the value? Okay, but you're not going to tell me what the actual username is? Really? User is null. Oh, it's because I'm getting the whole friggin' thing as that. Okay. Get S string, get ID. I don't want the ID, I want the value. What? Like, I don't want to type the ID or the string. Like, what the hell? I want the value. Don't care about the ID. I just want the value. There's no way for me to say this to get value? I don't want the ID and I don't... Like, what is this? What is this? this the value? Or is this the whole damn thing? This dot value. This is supposed to be the value. Okay. So what the hell? If get as string returns the value, why is that? So the value should be that username, Glabe. The base URL of this is indeed localhost 8080. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, okay. That's returning a null, so this leads me to believe, and I'm just gonna see if I can prove my own point. Login, register, API, da, da, da. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? I just want to be able to get a user based on a username. Okay. So this is my thing, and I'm betting you. Wait, what? Holy shit. Yeah, I'm getting an error. I'm getting redirected to the login page. Okay, so yeah, that is my thought. Okay, okay. So that is due to security. Security chain here. This is because I'm not allowing anything to go to API / whatever. So very insecurely, I'm gonna come down here, and so I'm not looking to set up a token. There we go. I'm not looking to set up token authorizations or anything like that right now. I'm just looking to get this bare minimal up and going. So let's stop this program again and rerun it. Now if I hit submit again, registration failed. If I bring my Discord back up, I did do the registration form, except you'll see here, as you see in the bottom there, registration failed. So what I did was did this, and I said Glabe, and I thought that my password was Glabe, but it wasn't lowercase. It may be uppercase. I don't know. If I try this again, still got registration failed. So why did I fail? Where am I failing? Am I failing to find myself, or am I failing just failing? I'm coming down here, so the Boolean itself turns out to be false for the result of linking when I go to the post. Okay, so something in the post is returning false. So that would be this returning false. So let's rerun this in debug. And I'm just curious. Cool. Submit. Wait, what? I'm so confused. Because, like... Oh, I can't check that while I'm in it, that's right. If I stop this and take a look at my users, my Discord ID is still null, so it is failing before I get there. But now if I run the project and debug, I have 2 breakpoints here. I'm also going to throw them here and here so I can see where, like, what? So hit up and link again, providing double glab A. Double glab A. Submit. And the result is null. Why is the result null? Result is null. Okay, so password is glabe, Discord ID, and the user ID. Okay. So neither one of those tripped this breakpoint. It just came back with null. What? Okay, let's try this again. Still just crapping out here. That's so weird. So where is this crapping out at? Because this should be going to user / user ID / register, but it's not even... What? It's failing out because the result is null. But the result, I don't understand why it's null. Okay, cool. So let's dig into this. I mean, it's probably null now because the database is probably still connected to me here. If I disconnect from it there. All right, wait, do you mean the database is there because it validated the user's not null? So I have the user here. I just need to validate the user's password, which I need to do through a post request. I mean, okay, so what if I did this differently? And what if I decided to do this so that I'm taking in just the user ID and a password? So like, okay, let me change some things up here. I want to say this and this, user ID, password. We're going to say user / register, so I'm going to get rid of that, user register, and then provide user ID. Well, that's going to be a user ID instead of this. We're going to get rid of that. There's no more path variables. And I just want to know if this is true. so I'm gonna redo the registration, making it as opposed to just posting this and this, and it's going to return true or false whether or not we're validating the password that's provided. So if it's good, good. Otherwise, just going to return Boolean false. Make it a hard object that we're returning. Okay, so now on this end, we're going to user register. So if I click on this shit, it takes me directly over here. And then I got the user ID and the password that I'm providing. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. So now, if is null result, I don't want to return. I want to, oh, stop double clicking. I am going to want to return, but I want to throw a message to the user. And then next I want to know, what the hell? And just, yeah, okay, so if result, duh, if not, duh. Okay, so let's try to rerun this again and see where this goes. An error occurred. Yeah, so now I got this message, an error occurred because this returned a null. So why is this returning a null when the only two things that can return are right here and right here? And of course, I'm putting the first break on optional. So theoretically, if this gets hit, this API controller gets hit, rerun this. Cool. Let's hit up, re-enter the last command. And we're gonna go with glabe. Glabe. Right, lowercase. Glabe, glabe. Boom, again. Something went wrong. The interesting part of the something went wrong is that this endpoint gets called or gets executed, but nothing over here ever trips. So that leaves me to now question my sanity. So we're going to pop these two here because this registration is starting to bother me. So let's pop open our endpoints tool here. Make this a bit bigger. And we're going to try this posting of a thing. So I know that my ID is 2 due to the debugging that we've already done. And my password, I'm assuming, is just straight up glabe because I can't actually remember my password. So this here, if I post it, I'm also coming back with an error. I'm getting redirected to the login screen. Why? And if I go to the get where I tried to do just my user glabe, this one comes back with some creditable information, and it's at API user. This one is a post mapping to the same thing, API user, with a register, and I'm providing in some stuff. But this one is taking me to basically, I'm getting redirected to a login screen. Why am I getting redirected though? I thought I said my security should be absolute shit. should be allowing everything. Why is that? What? Sweet Jesus. So why is this redirecting me? API, user, register. Like, if I get rid of the word register and just have this as a post mapping to here, would that make a difference? If I rerun this, like, would this make a difference? Not malformed or anything. Why am I getting redirected for this? Super confused on this one. Super confused. Not sure why I am getting redirected for this one, but not. So if I get rid of this now, whoop, and if I make I'm making a post mapping here, because up here I'm making a get request. I mean, would that make any row of beans difference? We said get instead of post. Like, let's change this back to have the registered. Let's make this a get, because is it just the security aspect of posting? Was it my CSRF that's throwing this off? I mean, that wouldn't shock me. So let's come into here. Let's come back into here. I'm going to change this. I'm going to put that back to register, but change it to a get. And now I'm going to rerun the project, and I'm just curious enough to do this over here before experimenting in GitHub, or in the thing again, Discord. Okay, so if I do this, that actually hits the breakpoint. Okay, so it was my CSRF. Interesting. Cool. And we return with the proper stuff. Interesting. So I can minimize this. And we can go back over to our Discord bot. Up, link. And this may not work because now I am linked already. Oh, and I think it was the lowercase password. Now registration failed, but I'm assuming it's because I'm already registered at this point. If I pop into my database, turn off this because we're using the memory database here. So now if I do this, my Discord ID is null. Yay! All right. So was it a wrong? Is it the capital password then? I don't know. I did this and it came back true. Oop, doop, doo doo doo. Okay, so that being said, okay. Now that I know what this is, let's. I'm gonna go back to having this. Copy that. Put this back to where it was. Recap this. Make this a get mapping. Get rid of that. Okay. Valid password. Da, 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 da. Now we're gonna say if valid password. I want to say the user dot set Discord ID, save it, and I'm going to say Boolean false down here because something went wrong. But we're going to put this up here and say true. So then I've set the password, I've saved it, we're good. So now if I get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of the security config, get rid of this. Where the hell were we with that? Okay, so the model. Yeah, that I need to switch up now. I need to put this back to what it was. So this is going to be user slash, this is the user ID here. And we're going to go back to putting this as the Discord. This is going to be the Discord ID again. This is going to be Discord ID again. So that should be all hunky-dory. And if we rerun this project, which I technically need to dip off of the database. Cool, that worked in time. Yeah, no, I think I'm already set there. So now if I come into the Discord bot here, press up, link my account again, provide this with Lab A. And there we see, successfully registered. Look at that. So now if I stop the service and go look at the database, we'll now see that I have a Discord ID. There we go. So now that we got that set up and sorted, and that was a headache. Wow, I can't believe that took as long to debunk as it did. Next thing that we want to do is be able to do the command for my list. So now if we pop into here, we have this command, and I want to make a I want to copy and paste this just to try to be a little quick with this. And we're going to say my list command. Oh, whoops, that was supposed to be added. Okay, so this is my list command. So this one here, we are now going to implement another network client here again, so that we can fetch the list of to-dos based off of the Discord user. So this is going to need us to go back into the controller, and our to-do API controller, I believe. This is where we're doing our put patch, but okay, that's for that. So we are going to need to make a get. So we're going to make a get mapping. We're not getting all of a to-do lists. I want this to be a list of to-do DTOs. This is going to be get all to-do items for user. For user, and this is going to tack on a request parameter, except it's not username. It's actually Discord ID. This is going to be a long Discord ID. And now I want to go into the to-do service. Dot find all by Discord ID and provide the Discord ID. And this is going to be a list of user to-dos. All right, so let's pop into this. Let's pop into the service here, and we are going to. Here we want to make a public. Sort of the same deal. Yeah, I'm cool with that. No, I'm not cool with that. So, to do repository, we're looking to find all by user, order by. Okay, so I'm looking to do something similar, except by Discord ID. So we're going to duplicate this one, find all by user underscore. Probably just redo this. This is going to be a Discord ID, and I'm going to find all by Discord ID. Why is that? Oh, really? You gotta switch that now? But it's not the user. No, because that's not actually the user, technically. Okay, so I want to find by ID, but I want to find by Discord ID. I don't have a find by user ID, Discord ID right now. go. So back into service. I want this guy, Discord ID, where we're gonna go back into here and we're gonna find this by Discord ID. Okay. Yeah, basically that. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into the controller and I find all by Discord ID. So this is all of my user to-dos that are related to the Discord ID that I provided. So now I want to return okay, whatever, that doesn't like it. Cool, so we're going to change this to a collection. Now, I'm sure there's some other additional things I should be handling here, but I'm just not at the very moment. So this my list command is going to result equals get rest client dot get dot URI is to-dos. Oh, it's supposed to be API to-dos. To-dos. Okay. And then I am taking in the Discord ID. And I am going to retrieve that. And I want the body of collection. Get new body, new parameterized type of a collection of foods. New item DTO. There we go. Oh, import your class. Come on now, don't be so silly. Alright, do this, do this, do this, do that, do null marked. There we go. So, once I do this, crazy that that's not recognized. Or is it because I already have APIs listed there? That's the thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that does take me to here. Okay, cool. So that's all set up, right, I think. Now we're going to... Probably should test this, make sure it works. If I run this, I gotta copy my Discord ID. User ID, go into here, and where are we at? We're looking to make a get to API to do's and the Discord ID. Okay, and if I run that, sweet. So that looks like it worked. Okay, perfect. So that does work. I get a result. So now I need to turn that result into a embed message reply. So something simple. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Push this up. So as you see here, I did get some results of my to-do lists. 1, 2, 3. So now I want to build an embed message that has a title and then has fields. So this is going to be set up as the title is going to be, what did I do? A moon? I think. Okay, this moon. I think I did a moon. And then call it the midnight list. And cat. I guess I'm gonna go with the Discord member. There we go. Cool. So that's that, and then I'm gonna do an embed dot set fields. Oh, that's footer. Okay, cool. So how do I just add fields? Oh, it's just literally add field. Okay, cool. What do I want to say here? Trying to think of how I want to build this embed message out. So I got the title, the description, and then I want, I guess I'll add an embed dot add field. Okay, so if, just to shut this up. There we go, just so that we'll handle that later. So for here, we're going to add the embed. So now I'm going to come down here and I want to say for each item inside of the result, I'm basically going to do this. This one is, I'm just going to put the ID here, so task dot concat item dot ID. Sure. So that's going to give me the ID for that, and then I want to add items description. Okay, and I don't want these to be technically listed out in any sort of task is number this. So that's going to be my long ass field name. Is going to be the task ID, followed by whether or not it has been completed. And then we're going to add the description in there. Not exactly the cleanest way to do it, but we're going to do it that way. So then we're going to say event dot. I think I'm just going to reply with embeds because I don't need to actually give out a message. So if we do that, and oh my god, have I seriously been writing all this with that up in the way? Jeepers creepers. All right, so down here we're building an embed message. We're setting the title to the midnight list. We're setting the description to say showing your tasks, whatever your username is. And then we're going to put a field in here first saying the total tasks are X amount. And then for each item inside of the result, we're going to add a new field. We're going to add a new field here. So later on, I'm going to have to page this so that we only get a result of 21 or 22, I think it is. Like, no, 23. I'm using one embed message here, and it's 24 that can fit in a, or 25 that can fit in a. I'll have to find that out. And then we're going to have to page it so that we, so that way we have this set up correctly. But this said, let's give it a run and let's see what happens. All right. Let's pop this back open again. And now if I do / my lists, absolutely nothing happens because we never handled it. So we got to go back into our listeners, into our / command listener. We're going to duplicate this bad boy so that it listens for my list. And then it is going to be going to, not that, it's going to, what did I call it? The hell did I call that command? My list? Yeah, my list command, okay. All right, so let's rerun this again, now that we're listening for the command. My mistake, guys, I'm sorry, I just didn't have it listened to. So here we go. This is what it looks like. Boom, moon, midnight list, showing your list for tasks, Glabe. I have 3 total tasks, and they are task number 8, completed. It is true. I mean, I could really do these better. But the task at hand, yeah, this is definitely going to need to be cleaned up better. These look horrible. We're going to clean this embed up so that it looks a little bit more, so that it looks a little better. I am going to say task, and we're just going to get rid of task altogether, actually. I'm going to replace that with item description. And then the text beneath it, is completed. No, maybe I will go back to the way I was doing it. But I'm going to say instead of task, giving it an ID, I'm just going to task completed. So I'm just gonna reword that a bit. Let's rerun this. Okay, so maybe we'll change this a bit more to be something along the lines of son of a bitch. Oh yeah, I gotta do it that way. Okay. Well, screw you then. Cool. So we're gonna just replace the thingy with check marker and X, just to see if that's a little bit cleaner. Sort of cleaner. All right, and then we're gonna have to add in some buttons to that to be able to add a new button or add a new task, and we'll add another button to maybe say completed task or complete, and then we'll make a drop down of things here, and yeah, maybe that'll be our little mission for next weekend. This is starting to run a little bit long, and I am getting ready to begin my day with my wife. So that being said, we will pick this up next weekend, where we will add in some functionality to our Discord bot. We'll make it look a little bit prettier. Maybe we'll talk about adding emojis into it to make it look a little bit better, more for the aesthetic aspect of anything. Yeah, next weekend we will make this look better, make this function better. We will clean up the embed message. We'll add a way so that we can put a button beneath it so that we can add a new task. We'll put a button beside that so that we can complete a task. And when we complete the task, we will have it bring up a form, or sorry, we'll have it bring up a select menu so that we can then populate the select menu with the different tasks that we have available, so we can pick which one we're looking to complete. So if that interests you to dive down a little further into Discord bots, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified when I go live on the weekends. I do randomly go live throughout the week, so that's something else to be to look out for. I work on various projects, not just this one. I tend to stream whatever it is that I'm working on at that time. So, if you've enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you learned something, let me know. Drop a comment. Let me know what you learned. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to evaluate on or elaborate on. Sorry, or extend on. I am hoping to put together a little podcast in the future as well, where I chit chat with other developers in the scene and see what other people are working at, talk about their struggles, their overcomes, their challenges, talk a little bit about some of the industry standards, and just kind of have a sort of a midnight roast chit chat while we sip on coffee and talk about life. So, if that interests you, by all means, hit that sub button to know when I go live with podcasts. And as always, keep your curiosity open, your skills sharp, and your coffee cup full. I'll catch you in the next one, guys.